Live stream is starting, and Shay, I will send you that link here as soon as it's finalized. The stream is starting.
Hi, baby Onyx. Cuteness.
We still letting a few more people in. Say hi.
Oh, look at you, so cute, so cute.
Hi, baby Onyx.
Say hi. You're a good baby. I'm a good baby. I'm a good baby. Yeah, good baby. All right. Okay. Who knows?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Want this?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good
Shay,
evening.
may I have a roll call to establish a quorum?
Yes. We have Dr. Von Elliott,
Present.
Miss Mario.
Present.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Miss Tisworth. We're taking roll call. Miss Tisworth? Miss Tisworth? You can't hear us. Dr. Coleman?
Yes, present.
Miss Lane?
Here.
Miss Jackson? And
Here.
Miss Williams.
Present. Okay, thank you. Now, we will have our Board of Education norms read by our Vice President, Ms. Tisworth.
Dion.
I don't think, Ms. Tisworth, can you hear us?
Thank you.
I don't think she can hear us.
I can play.
Okay, well, I can go ahead and read the norms. I just need to pull them back up here.
I'll pull them up for you on the screen if you like.
I think I have them. Okay.
Oh.
All right, the Board of Education norms cohesive team. Number one, we will remember to put students at the center of every decision. Pause after
Yes,
some
Coleman.
to hear all voices.
It actually went off.
Ms. Tisworth, can you hear us now?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, we can hear you. Would you like to read the board norms or would you like me to go ahead and read them?
I can read the board norms. I got it right here in front of me.
All right, thank you.
Board of Education norms. Number one, cohesive team. We will remember to put students at the center of every discussion. Every decision. Pause after someone speaks to hear all voices. Consider and respect all opinions without judgment. Strive to ensure positive intentions from all members. The board will honor the board policy related to the implementation of Robert's Rules of Order Policy BCB. Number two, collective agreement. The board will honor policy BBF school board member ethics. Use collective voices to reach decisions. honor and respect the work of the board, honoring and supporting the board decisions at all times, align with board policies and procedures. Number 3, be prepared for meetings. The board will review the packet details and submit questions within the established time frame. Questions at meetings should be limited and specific to the information not presented in the packet details. No surprises at meetings. Extend courtesy for each member's question. Members of the board will arrive 10 minutes prior to the start of the meeting if possible. Administration will release board packets to the River Garden School Board of Education within the identified time frame. Number 4, not allow outside entities to dictate board actions. River Garden School District Board of Education decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, not individual opinions or requests. Educate and encourage the community to follow proper protocols for voicing concerns. Policy KC, community engagement.
Thank you, Ms. Tisworth. Next, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
This is Veronica. I so move.
Second, Dr. May.
Okay, it has been moved by Ms. Morrill and seconded by Dr. May to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, Shay, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Dr. May,
Yes.
Ms. Morrill,
Yes.
Dr. Coleman, yes. Ms. Jackson,
Yes.
Ms. Lane,
Yes.
and Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Ms. Morrill, did I call you?
Yes, you did. And I said yes.
Okay. Thank
right.
you.
Motion passes. Next, Ms. Shay, do we have any patrons for public comment?
No, ma'am, I did not receive any requests to speak during this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we will move to announcements. Do any of our board members have any announcements this evening?
Yes. Madam Chair, just a reminder as before that next Tuesday will be election day, so please get out and vote. We do have a proposition on the ballot for citizens to vote on, Proposition N, and board candidates and other local government offices. So please get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other announcements? Okay. Dr. Patton, we will now move to our items for discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Our first item up for discussion is the RFP 293 for health benefits. Making this presentation is our CFO, Ms. Stephanie Terry, and our benefits coordinator, Ms. Bridget Gilliam. And this is in conjunction with policy DIAA fund balance, DJF, purchasing administrative, and DJF2 purchasing. Ms. Terry?
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I will begin. Good afternoon, Board President, board members, and Dr. Patton. Today, I'm presenting a recommendation regarding the district's health benefits, specifically our current participation in the CSD Trust and a proposed path moving forward. Okay, it's not letting me advance this. Okay, let me take it out of view. For some reason, it's not letting me advance. Okay, so what you see is the agenda. I'll walk through a brief overview of CSD Trust, what we are seeing financially, the difference between control versus forced exit, our findings, and finally a recommendation for next steps. So CSD Trust. So in the current structure with CSD Trust, it's a self-funded insurance trust, is where we pool resources with 25 other school districts in St. Louis County. And with the self-funded insurance trust, we share risk across member districts, depending on claims, reserves, and participation. This basically means that the 25 school districts share the risk. This model works when participation is stable and claims are predictable. However, we are starting to see the opposite. So for FY 25-26, we already felt at the beginning of the fiscal year, we saw an 18% increase to our health plan for Riverview Garden School District. And that's with and we do anticipate an increase for 26-27, and we will know more in May. Currently, the trust is operating at about a $2 million operating deficit. And as a result, the districts were, it was a requirement for the districts to do a pre-funding payment implemented for all districts. And for Riverview Gardens, we had to pay $249,000 in October of 2025 in order to help keep the district, help keep CSD Trust afloat. And starting in January through September, we subtract a monthly payment of $27,666 from our invoices to kind of pay us back the money. And these are all indicators of financial strain within the trust. So moving forward to controlled exit versus forced exit, this is basically being proactive instead of reactive to the current model with CSD Trust. So what we did as a district, we proactively issued an RFP to explore options. From that RFP, we have 5 brokers to respond to the RFP. We engaged with the district benefits teams for review and evaluation of the process so that we were not working in a silo. And from that process, 2 vendors were selected based on scoring and timely submission of additional information. Ultimately, this allowed us to make a decision from a position of strength rather than a position of urgency. So summaries of findings within the evaluation of the information that we received, USI demonstrated a more comprehensive and aligned approach to the district's needs. Cost comparison between the 2 that emerge as the top scorers. USI has a annual rate of $54,000 versus CBIZ annual rate of $65,000 annually. Both vendors indicated that the district is in a strong position to go out to the market and receive competitive pricing, which it makes the district looks more attractive to insurance providers. So CSD Trust considerations. The CSD Trust started 25-26 in a deficit, which raises concerns about long-term stability. In addition, 5 school districts are in the process of withdrawing from the trust, which would further impact cost and stability. And if you include us in, that will be 6. So a continuation of the summary of findings. USI Insurance Services has been selected by current CSD Trust districts, all of which have either submitted or are expected to submit notice to exit the trust. This trend may further impact trust stability and future rate conditions. So this matters because as participation declines, costs and risks increase for those who remain with the trust. And but both remaining vendors require exclusive agreement to move forward. So this is where we are now. We cannot move forward without any market analysis until we sign an agreement with the selected or recommended vendor. So recommendations and rationale. As a collective, we are recommending USI Insurance Services to proceed on an exclusive basis into the next phase of analysis. The rationale behind this is it positions the district to leverage strong claims experience to secure better pricing in the market, receive competitive data-driven rate options from insurers, assess whether the current benefit structure is sustainable long-term compared to other options, and reduce financial risk associated with remaining with the trust. This is about putting the district in a proactive position and proactive and informed position. So exiting the trust. So things that I wanted the board to know, exiting the trust. We did a preliminary review of CSD trust bylaws for exiting the trust. We must notify the trust in writing by April the 1st. The district may be required to pay a prorated share of unfunded liabilities, which totals approximately $228,000 for Riverview Garden School District. These are claims that have been made but not yet paid. And the district may be required to pay estimated administrative/termination fees of $52,000. Approximate cost to leave CSD trust is $280,000. This is a one-time cost to transition from CSD trust. And based on the feedback that we got from USI Insurance Services, they believe the district is well positioned to receive strong competitive insurance outside of the CSD trust. If Riverview chooses to leave, USI can begin negotiating with carriers immediately and will have options presented within 30 to 45 days by May. They will provide a full timeline to ensure a smooth transition to August open enrollment with no lapse in coverage and continuity for staff. They have a strong experience in supporting districts leaving the CSD trust and currently working with several local school districts, including 5 recent CSD members transitioning to a new plan. So on this slide that you see before you, it reflects projected scenarios based on market engagement. We are not making a final plan selection today. We are positioning the district to see real options and make a data-informed decision. So on this slide, you will see that the potential savings could be as great as $687,000, but then we would have to back out the one-time exit expense, would bring our potential savings to $407,425 approximately. So the next steps, if approved, currently we're having a board approved special meeting. We would then have to notify CSD Trust with our intent to withdraw, execute agreement with selected vendors, provide claim and enrollment data to the vendor. They would then conduct market analysis and provide their information back to us within 30 to 45 days. And then we will present our final recommendations to the board. In closing, the current structure presents financial risk. Acting now allows us to make a thoughtful, strategic decision rather than reactive later on. And that is the end of my presentations. And also want to inform everyone that we do have a representative from USI Trust. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, board members, do we have any questions? If you can, just raise your hand so I'll know who to call on. You have any questions? I have a few questions, Ms. Terry, and also I'll let Dr. May, you can go first and I'll go after you. And then after Dr. May, Ms. Lane.
Yeah, I inquired before the meeting to see if we had would be able to identify the original contract to see what language was in there around the termination, so that we can assure that the fee actually applies to the agreement that we had in place at the time that we established it. So I think having that information will allow for an even more informed decision about it.
So Dr. May, I've spoken to Shay, and we're, back in 1997 when the agreement with CSD Trust was originated, I'm not sure what platform we were on. When I spoke to Shay just after you called, she said there are several binders that we can look through. And so we will make sure that we look through those binders, and I will share that with the board if we find it, and make sure that's part of when we make the recommendation. I will also speak to the cost to leave the trust. Over the last few years, several school districts have left the trust, and they were not charged the exit fee. And so we will take strong opposition to paying an exit fee when several school districts prior to us didn't have to pay the exit fee. My understanding is that the exit fee is part of every contract. I talked to at least 3 or 4 different superintendents who are leaving the trust. They all said that there was an exit fee that they were going to push back against because over the years they haven't really enforced it. So we will look for the agreement, the original agreement, not a new agreement from them, but the original agreement, to make sure that we have the right one. And should I find that, I will forward it to the board, and we will also make it part of the board, of the next board meeting when we make a recommendation as to which organization we will go, or as to select, approving USI if that's what we decide to do.
Okay, and like I mentioned, I would recommend just asking them if they have a copy, if they can put their hands on it quicker. Because if neither party have it, then there's nothing to break.
Dr. May, I know we do have a copy of the bylaws as well. I could send a copy of the bylaws that breaks down the what each district will be on the hook for.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
There's nothing else, Dr. May. Ms. Lane?
Yes, ma'am. I submitted quite a few questions. CFO, thank you so much for answering all of them. I know that they were sent to the board, and I'm not sure if everybody had an opportunity to read them. But maybe it's a matter of just language. We keep saying exiting. I didn't ask this question. We keep saying exiting the trust. Is that the same as we are breaking a contract? Is there a time, like, is this a yearly contract and we're removing ourselves from it, from the yearly administration of the contract? And Ms. Terry, you did say you had a representative there.
Yes.
So that's the first question. The second question is, I know 1997 was a very long time ago. So have we contacted our current contract attorney for direction as to what we need to do to make sure that we are following the legal path? Because I didn't know that there were other districts who had exited the trust and did not, and were not charged I'm going to call it a penalty, because I don't know what else to call it. And why would that be applied to us now?
So
can the representative speak on that?
yes, but he represents USI. But Mr. Dean, are you okay? You ready?
Yeah. No, thanks everybody for having us tonight. So yes, I am fairly familiar with this. We worked with Wentzville School District last year, same kind of process in terms of building out a new plan. To the first question, how I would phrase it is, you are making a decision to give timely notice of departure. Okay. And Stephanie referenced that notice has to be given by 4/1. So you're not breaking a contract. In the bylaws, it does stipulate that any school that leaves has to give notice by 4/1. Now they stay in the program until renewal, which is 10/1. So there'd be no disruption there. But their rules, the consortium rules, are that you just have to give notification by then. And I can also tell you that I got an email while we were sitting here. Rittner's doing the same thing you guys are doing. They did elect that they are leaving tonight. So he has already actually sent his notification into CSD from their perspective. And there's going to be a total of 6, we believe, that are leaving. We are fortunate to be working with each one of them in this journey, if you will, and find them new options. To your other question of the penalty, exit fee penalty, however we want to describe it, that is spelled out in the bylaws. I can tell you that. However, it is reliant on the overall financial health of the program. So when Wentzville left last year, for instance, they're about 3,000 employees, so they are larger than Riverview. Their exit cost was about the same as what yours is. So yes, there is some discrepancy there. But the trust was in a little bit different financial position when that was calculated. Now, I cannot speak to the consistency that how they've done it over the years. If I go way back when we took some groups out of it, I don't believe they did have to pay anything, but this is going back to the early 2000s. We did have a handful of schools that we worked with, and I don't remember that they had to pay anything. So, and I do agree with Stephanie in that there are some other schools that are, I'm not sure if that was Stephanie that mentioned that or not, but there are some schools I think that are questioning the validity of it and will probably fight it a little bit. But if you don't give notice by the 1st of April, you can still leave. However, they do then have an untimely notice penalty, which is 3% of the total premium that you pay in each year. And that would equate to, unfortunately, about another $200,000 to $300,000 that you would have to pay if you decide you would want to leave, if you decided in May you wanted to leave. So it is a little difficult because you do have to make a decision now if you would like to go ahead and exit the trust.
Okay, Ms. Lane, does that conclude all of your questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I'll go next. My first question is, Mr. Dean.
Yes.
What other districts are currently using USI?
Sure.
Not the ones that are leaving, but the ones who have already left and are currently using your services.
Sure. So education is a big vertical that we focus on. So currently in the St. Louis area, we work with St. Louis Public Schools. We work with Ferguson Florissant. We work with Melville. We work with Wentzville. We work with Rockwood. We have a few a little bit further out, like we deal with Hillsborough, Festus, Dunklin. And we also represent some consortiums too. So I am familiar with kind of how they work. And we've talked to multiple districts throughout this process: Webster, Windsor, Hazelwood, and all of them are kind of in different places of what they want to do. But to Stephanie's point too, the loss of districts over the last 2 years is going to be well over half of the belly buttons, if you will, that were part of the program. And one of the things that if you do decide you want to stay in, I mentioned this to her on Friday, is Hazelwood will now make up a little over 50% of the enrollment in CSD. And what that means in a trust setting is that you're going to kind of feel the pendulum of however Hazelwood's performing. If they're performing pretty well, you'll probably get pretty good renewals. If they're not performing well, you're going to see higher renewals because they make up such a big part of the funding that I like consortiums we set up. We don't want to have any member making up more than about 20%. So we think that that's something you just have to think about. Now, the other thing, just not to get too nerdy with statistics, but Riverview's fortunate, much more fortunate than some of the other districts that are in CSD. And by that, I mean, statistically, any entity that's over 500 employees, which you certainly are, your chance of success on building something yourself is north of 95% over a multi-year period. So some districts that are smaller, they don't have that math working in their favor. So, and you're running extremely well right now. You are supplementing the trust, if you will, because you're running at what's called 80%. So 20% of your spend is helping the rest of the trust. So in your case, that's in the $1.5 million range plus. So that's also what gives us a lot of faith and understanding that you will have very good options if you decide to go this path outside of the trust for the future years.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And Ms. Terry and Dr. Patton, I missed it, but has our legal team been involved in looking at the bylaws for us exiting the program and giving us any guidance?
Not that I'm aware. I'm not certain if Mr. Charles had them to review it when he was here. But Dr. Patton, can you speak to that?
No, Ms. Williams, our attorneys are reviewing the current contract with USI, the agreement that we would have to sign. They have not been a part of looking at the bylaws that we originally had with CSD Trust.
Okay, thank you. And the other questions, I just have two more. One is, how did we determine the cost savings when we don't know what plans will be offered? How do we
Sure.
come to the approximate cost savings?
Yep, very good question. So one of the tools we have at USI, and we're a national consulting firm. We have the ability to benchmark what's happening with the claim data that Bridget was able to send me. We were able to analyze what your current costs are and project. We basically did a projection of if you were on your own, these are the benchmark costs of what we believe you will see. And it's not conjecture or Dean or anyone else's opinion. We have multiple underwriters that looked at it. We have AI tools that do allow us to do future analysis of what claims will be. And is it guaranteed? I can't sit here and say it's guaranteed because we're pretty good ways away from 10/1, which is when your plan renews. So we still have a lot of work to do over the next 30 to 45 days. But knowing statistically what I'm seeing from the claims, from our analysts and underwriters and our technology, we do feel strong. So that's how that was developed. It was kind of some really smart people, much smarter than me, and some technology to help analyze your data.
Okay, thank you. And then last question,
Mhm.
Ms. Terry, if we decide to go this route, once we get to the part where we're looking at plans, will the benefit committee be involved in selecting plans?
Yes, they will be involved. And as I indicated before, I think on my response to Ms. Lane, we have been working with the benefit committee. We've had 3 meetings with them, one virtually, but we have included them throughout this process so that we wouldn't function in a silo.
Thank you.
Well.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. This makes me nervous that looks to me that we have waited till the 9th hour because 4/1 is day after tomorrow, Wednesday. Are we in a position to give notice by that time?
Yes, we are.
Why did we wait until till the last second?
I've addressed with the document that Ms. Lane, I outlined the whole process, which initially, if you remember, when Mr. Charles was here, he started the conversation with CBiz. But at that time, it was just a conversation. So from the advice of Mo Asbo, I went back out for an RFP, which we had the RFP on February the 27th, and it ran through March the 6th. And from that time, the internal finance department had to review it. We went over it with the budget committee, And that's where we are now. We had to send information back out to the vendors who applied for the RFP to gather more information, and this is where we are right now.
So are you saying that we could not have done anything before March 6th?
Well, a lot of it too was dependent on CSD Trust. We met with CSD Trust on March the 16th, and they were not able to provide us our new rates. They said they would not provide us our new rates until May, and this is the exact same thing that they did last year. So they gave us an estimate basically indicating that we will probably, since we moved to Tier 4, that we will probably see a 6 to 7% increase. But they didn't give us any exact numbers, and they're not willing to give us any numbers until May.
And I will add to that, that in my discussions with other superintendents who are leaving the trust, those school districts who decide to stay on top of the percentage that Ms. Terry just gave, the 6 to 7% increase, will see approximately another 3% increase, because now they have to make up for the school districts that are leaving. And so you're talking about maybe a 9 to 10% increase in our insurance at a time when we are trying to reduce our budget. So we are just experiencing, and it's happening across the board. The consortium, from my understanding, when we initially elected to get involved, was to keep costs down, and that is no longer occurring. And so we really want to look for ways that we can reduce our budget. As you know, we have a deficit, and so we can't continue. We had an 18% increase, now a possible 10% increase. So we have to look for ways to be strategic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Lane?
Yes, ma'am. I want to make sure I understood Ms. Terry correctly. So they were not able to give us a budget, an estimate on how much more the policy was going to, the plans would be by until May, whatever date. Is that what you said?
Correct. That is
But we had to
notify them by April.
notify them by April 1st. I was gonna say reply, but that's not it. We had to notify them a month before they actually were responsible for getting us I don't understand.
Correct. That is correct.
But I don't, okay, how could that be?
That's what the trust, this is the exact same thing that happened last year. If you recall, when we did the presentation, they met with us they gave us some preliminaries to say that, okay, if we're in this tier, we may increase by 6 to 7% from over, year over year. However, they won't have our plans with the increase to after May.
And so, Ms. Lane, what I can say to that is it might be strategic, right? Because if we have to inform them by April 1st, but they are unable to get us, the information related to increases until May, I will just say it may be strategic on their part. I don't know that for sure, but I would say that it may be a strategic move on their part.
So, and then okay, all right. I remember, Ms. Terry, reading your presentation, and if memory serves me correctly, I want to say the projected savings was like $825,000. You had a little calculation on the side on one of those pages. And so basically, that's truly an estimate. Could be more, it could be less.
Correct.
But I also wondered how you came up with that number. And so I know now it is an estimate. We're hoping it will at least be that, correct? But
Correct.
No.
These are projections that were provided by USI. So Mr. Dean, who's on the call, they provided that slide that reflects the projections.
We did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Ms. Terry, are you finished, Ms. Lane?
Yes, ma'am.
Terry, I have another question. So you have the preliminary numbers from CSD for 26-27. Is that correct?
No.
No,
don't
no,
have-
will not release those numbers into May,
Mhm.
until May.
Okay, I know they used to release them in March and then we would get the final numbers in May, and they were pretty spot on with the preliminary numbers. Okay, so you don't have anything, when you met with them on the 16th, they haven't given any projections at all? Nope.
They gave us the percentages, and we can send that information as well. And we asked, and even after the call, I made a call to Darla, who's with WTW, and she said, no, they won't have the numbers. And this is the exact same thing they did last year. This is what I walked into last year with the timing of the new numbers. I don't know if historically, since you have been with the district, I don't know if historically if they did provide those numbers in March, but from what I was told, they haven't gotten them a while until May. But I can send you what they sent us, which is just telling us what a percentage increase would be based on the tier.
Right. With the percentage, I don't know, I might be taking you back too far, so if I am, just.
I haven't even been here a year, so I assure you, you're
Right,
taking me.
I'm sorry about that. But when you look at the percentage, the preliminary percentage from last March and where we actually ended, do you know how close we were? Because it used to be really close. So if, for example, if they told us in March it would be a 10% increase, once we would get the final numbers in May, it would be it would be around the same thing.
I think we're trending close to where they said we would be. And last year was an 18.8% increase for medical.
Mm.
And this year, on top of that, based on the March 16 meeting, it was anywhere from, I think I looked at tier 4 and tier 5. It was 6.50 and to 7.6% increase.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if this will be helpful. One of the I shared this too, is throughout this process, a few of the schools we've been talking to have been sharing with me some of the financials and the renewal projections. And two things stuck out to me. One is, given the current financial position of the trust, I think the renewal is low overall. They should have more what we refer to as margin built in. And basically what that does is it's just like when we save our own money. If we want to save for something, sometimes we have to be a little bit more conservative depending on what we want to buy. And in this case, I think, because trend for 26 is about 9%, and they're barely above that in the overall projection, which I think is aggressive, because if you're trying to build reserves, I think that should be closer to 11 or 12%. That's one piece. The other thing that stuck out to me is how it's presented to Dr. Patton and Stephanie is they're not showing the math of how they're arriving at it. They're just giving you the end product. And once, like, when we have truly access to your full data, we will show you every year a projection and exactly how we arrive at it. And I think that's a big missing piece that is hurting other members as they try and make decisions. And it was alluded to earlier, this timing thing to us is a little crazy, that you have to decide by 4/1, but you don't know your final number till 30 to 60 days later. That's a problem. Our consortium that we have a 90-day notice, and ours is a 7/1. So schools can get quotes, and if they do want to leave, they can then give us notification. So I think this is kind of penalizing, and I've heard rumblings that there were some schools that were going to push back a little bit on that too. But I think they all ended up just making the decision to leave, at least all the 5 other ones we're talking to.
And also, I might add that I'm looking at the financials that CSD Trust sent over the past 4 years. They have been operating in a deficit. This is the data that they sent. And if you guys could look at the document that I shared prior to the meeting, I have a screenshot of their slide that they submitted. It was about 25.8 million in a span of 4 years. So this trend has been going in the wrong direction for several years for them.
And also, I do have a question about the contract with is it USI?
Mhm.
Is it, and I know it says annually, so we would just sign a new contract every year? So it's not like a 3-year, 5 years, just,
Most of the time we do 3 years, but that's not a have to. If you guys are more comfortable with a 1-year contract that we just renew it every year, we're fine with that. I think the template of what I sent over last week was 3 years. But if you elect that you would like that to be an annual contract, we would be open to that.
thank you. Okay, board members, do we have any more questions? Yeah, I do know that this was on for discussion and approval tonight. And the actual recommendation is on the board agenda. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll
Madam,
make the motion.
and Madam Chair, I'll second.
I like, you want me to say the motion, President?
Yeah,
I
can
make
you
the
read
motion that we
the
accept USI Trust to be the healthcare vendor, or
Ms. Lane, can you read what's on the recommendation, on the actual recommendation where it talks about the annual amount and
oh,
also?
hold on, I need the agenda
Okay,
because I didn't have that up.
Mhm.
let's show you want to put it on the screen.
Yeah, there we go.
Still share.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Right.
I make a motion to award the RFP -293 to USI Insurance Services in the amount of $54,000 annually to proceed on an exclusive basis into the next phase of analysis, including development of detailed rate proposal and market options related to health insurance cost. You want me to continue?
Yes, please.
Inform CSD Trust, yes, inform CSD Trust in writing by April 1 of the district's decision to leave the trust, resulting in the approximate cost of $280,000 until we get more information about that amount.
Okay, all right.
And I'll second.
Okay, thank you. It has been moved by Ms. Lane and seconded by Ms. Moore Real, based on the recommendation that's in our board agenda item. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Shay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Moore,
Yes.
Ms. Lane,
Yes.
Dr. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson, Ms. Jackson on here?
She's muted.
It looks like she might be frozen as well.
Oh.
She looks frozen, Shay.
Okay, Dr. Von Elliott,
Abstain.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
I have to mark, Ms. Jackson not present for the vote. And so the motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm.
All right. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Can I ask a question, President, first?
Yes, Ms. Lane.
and I don't know what was the appropriate time, but the $280,000 that I added to the recommendation until we get more information about that amount. If we get information that we don't have to pay the $280,000, then we have to vote on this again, or do we?
Could we say not to exceed $280,000? And that way that gives us the leeway. Because there will be, as Stephanie mentioned, Ms. Lane, there will be some leftover money that we have to leave for claims that are coming, but the 54,000 penalty. So could we say 280, not to exceed 280,000? That is a question I'm putting out there.
So Dr. Patton, you're asking us to go back and make a motion? amend-
Probably go back and make the motion of not to exceed. Otherwise, we will have to come back if it's less than that and bring it back to the board.
I don't see the issue
can
with coming
barely
back
hear
to the
you.
board.
Uh-huh.
At that time, that would give the board more information about what's actually happening.
That's fine.
But we would have already given our notice by April 1st.
Right.
And so already
So-
given our notice, and there's not an issue with coming back again? Is that what you're saying, Ms. Williams?
Right, it shouldn't be anytime, because we'll still give the notice, but if there's an issue with the cost, say for example, the cost to leave is 400,000, they would have to come back anyway because we've only approved approximately 280.
Right.
She's saying.
That's true.
So
And if
that's-
it's less, Madam Chair, you don't have to come back for the board approval of less. The board would be notified that is less, either by way of an information item, but it's only if it's more.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay,
I think we're okay.
Yeah.
okay, all
And
right.
Dr. Avant Elliott has her hand raised as well.
Okay.
Miss Shay, can you go to the agenda that you see on Diligent, please?
This one,
Is that the 401 come down? No, the list of the agenda items.
the attachments,
Mm-mm.
oh,
What-
you mean here? Like this?
Mm-hmm. So was the agenda amended for items of action? Because I see the same as what you see. There was nothing under items of action.
So it was requested that the original request was that it be presented for discussion and action. So items for action is only one item on the agenda. So had you not wanted to move forward with it, then it would have been fine.
And if you pull up the one that's in Diligent Community
You
that
can
lists
see it.
out the bullet points, you can see it says discussion and approval. I'm
Mm.
sorry, no, my screen is blurred, but if you pull up the
Over
one,
here.
we look at the page that's before that, Shay. before
Yeah.
you-
Oh, okay. The other
you
one.
see it says discussion and approval.
I'm in the
under-
background.
Yes.
Yeah, I see something. I see a statement listed, but under item 6, items for action, there was nothing listed like normally on the.
Here it
agenda.
is, right here.
Yeah,
Discussion and action. A discussion and approval.
Yeah, it's just stated under, it was just stated under the items for discussion, but there is no item listed, just like I saw on the screen. I thought I was confused, but there was no item of action listed under 6. But it's okay. I abstain so that I can protect against that. So it's fine.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions before we adjourn? Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
I think you all-
Second.
Okay, Dr. May, we'll go with Dr. May. Okay, any further discussion?
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, Shay, roll call vote, please.
What is all this popping up here?
Ms. Lane,
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth,
Yes.
Dr. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Real,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Dr. May,
Yes.
I didn't see Ms. Jackson. I let her back in, but I don't see her on the screen.
Don't see her.
Hmm.
Motion carries, Shay.
Motion carried.
All right, good